I'm Joe Constantine, with owner and head performance coach with Constant Motion Fitness. My email is joe@constantmotionfitness.com. My phone number is 858-922-5788. Today we are going to talk about balance training, integrated body training, and proprioception with the BOSU balance trainers and the Step 360 made by Spry. Those of you that have been in my class, you've seen how I use the BOSUs, how much I use the BOSUs. They're one of my favorite pieces of equipment. The couple of main things to think about when you're using a BOSU trainer, especially when you're new to it, is make sure that you've mastered what we're trying to do on firm ground before jumping onto a BOSU. It's very important to make sure that safety is number one. So if you can't do a nice clean squat on solid ground, you have no business getting on here and trying to do the same thing. Secondly, make sure the floor is clear around you. It's really easy to lose your balance, fall off, and the last thing we want to see is crunch. There's a technical term for that, it's called bad. Third, and very importantly, as per the manufacturers of BOSU, as it says right on here, we do not recommend standing on the platform side of it. They consider it's a much more high-risk maneuver. They very clearly, I mean, it says right on there, standing on platform not recommended. So, with that, we will not be doing anything like that today. So, the biggest thing that the BOSU balance training gives you is what trainers known as kinesthetic awareness and proprioception. What those mean, from a technical term to as simple as your body's awareness of where the rest of your body is. The biggest factor in balance is the neurological connection between your brain and your muscles. It tells you where your body is at any given time. It's the reason why you can close your eyes and touch your nose. You can reach behind yourself and touch your fingers together. You don't need to see your body in order to know where the rest of your body is. Your body just knows where it is. At times, going back to Jordan's conversation about alcohol, things can impair that. And it's the things that slow down your neurological processes, your depressants, being tired, which will make it very difficult to do those things. So that's why if you ever get pulled over, God forbid, for drinking too much, the police officer has you stand on one foot and touch your nose and your eyes closed. Because that's something that is a very good indicator of reduced proprioception and kinesthetic awareness, which is very commonly linked to alcohol. So with that, one of the most basic things we can do with a BOSU is just do a squat. So like I said, we can stand on here, it'll adjust. The BOSU is really designed to be used barefoot. Doesn't mean you can't wear shoes, doesn't mean you have to stand in any certain way, but when you get on here, the first thing to do, just get steady. So kind of step around it, step off it, step back on it. So how about if everybody just kind of gets onto a BOSU and just kind of get comfortable, become one. Step on off it a couple of times, get back on it. Put your right foot in, take your right foot out. Now we're cha-cha. Okay, so now what I want you to do is stand on one foot. Okay, so get that one foot to the middle. What you want to do is position your foot so that the projection of your leg is going right down through that center point. That's the sweet spot. So man, your foot is a little bit to the side. That's where you're struggling to stay on one side. So you get that foot up there you go. See, it's going to be a lot easier. Now go ahead and switch feet. Now you guys all noticed when you first got up on here that your leg was kind of all over the place. Your body wants to do, your body's getting flooded with signals from your body. Your head is getting flooded with signals from your body that, oh my God, I'm out of balance, and this and that. What it's doing is telling you to make these huge, gross adjustments to your balance. As you settle in and practice a little bit, the signals kind of reduce to the point where you can concentrate on making very fine adjustments. At first, you're trying to change, you're trying to, just shift like this and this. What you want to be is these tiny little adjustments. And then ultimately what will happen is, as long as you're keeping your core engaged, you're keeping your upper body quiet, all of a sudden you'll just have some twitching and firing in your lower legs. Keep your knees bent. And one thing to think about is kind of lock your ankle at 90 degrees. Really kind of keep a hard ankle. It'll help, at least at first, with being more stable. There you go. And then switch again.
And this is actually an exercise that, you know, during the holidays, if you're at home just watching television or trying to relax, this is something that you could even be doing at home to get some kind of exercise in, to Jordan's point of do something every day.
Sure.
I was listening to Jordan's presentation.
I mean, really, I mean, it doesn't, you don't have to get out and run a marathon every day. You don't have to go crazy every day. Just get out, plan a 30-minute period sometime during every single day where you get out and you get your heart rate up. You know, like I said, Amanda, you're walking your dog. Walk a little faster. You know, your brain is coming to boot camp and workouts as much as she possibly can, which is awesome. She's got there's a couple of days where we don't have that, so she's going to get out, she's going to go walking. She might, at this time of year, maybe she's just walking like a crazy woman around the mall. She'll fit right in. Because everybody's running for the next sale that they don't realize is, you know, they marked it up before they marked it down.
Right.
So. All right, so now I want you guys to get on the BOSUs with both feet. Now, you're going to feel your feet trying to, you know, to evert and invert. What I want you to do is concentrate on keeping your feet as flat as you can. Okay? You want the back of the arch of your foot, so right about here, to be lining up with the center point of the BOSU. Get your feet a little wider, Raina. So your feet are just not quite hip width. And I just want you to sink into a squat. Keep your hands out in front of you. Sink as low as you can. And come back up. Okay? How you doing, Amanda?
Okay. On your balance.
One thing to concentrate on with these is making sure your feet are even. If your feet are kind of offset like this, or if you're kind of, you know, if say this line is the center and you're here, it's going to be very hard to balance. The BOSU will adjust to you. There you go. And then maintain that weight through the heels as much as possible. Obviously with this, it's going to be a little different than a flat-footed squat. You're going to have a little bit more of that weight going forward, which is not the end of the world. All right. How's everybody feeling there?
Good job, Amanda.
How long it's been, Amanda? Amanda's only been out to one workout since her injury. It's a little bit of and it was an ankle and foot injury, so. All right, so next, what I want you to do is when you get down to that squat, come in fast, pop up a little bit. Doesn't have to be a huge jump, just a little bit of a pop. When you land, make sure you bend your knees and absorb it. You don't want to bounce. It's not a trampoline. You just want to, now when you land, bend your knees. There you go. And then, yeah, if you have to, just step off. For now, we're just, again, we're still just feeling out the BOSU. But you can see, I mean, you're already seeing, even just from a little bit, the heart rate's elevated, more so than just with a regular squat, because you're engaged, you're recruiting more muscles to work. Make sure you bend those knees. If you're bouncing on the BOSU, then you need to bend the knees more.
Okay.
Just let the knees, let your legs act as shock absorbers.
Right.
What's that?
He did track. He had to have seen all the numbers.
Oh, yeah. For a second, right? I'm going to steal yours for a second and demonstrate something a little different. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees. If you have your feet, you can bend your knees So now we're going to jump from the ground, from a nice stable platform, up onto the BOSU. So get behind the BOSU. Just kind of give yourself a little bit of knee bend. Jump up, and then when you land, nice and soft knees, and absorb it. That's kind of, it's one, you're increasing the risk of going tumbling off. Two, you're putting a lot of strain on your joints, which when you land just on solid ground, you're already putting some strain there, but to also add lateral movement to the knees and the hips, you're risking injury. So what you want to make sure that when you land nice and soft. You don't want to bounce. It's just going to be absorbed. All right? So let's do about 5, just jumping from the ground up onto the BOSU. So make sure you land up high enough, because you don't want to short it. 2 things happen when you short it. 1, when your foot comes in like this, puts a lot of strain on the ankle. It's not very comfortable. 2, the risk of falling backwards. And 3, if you hit hard enough with this, it'll actually pull the lip out of the BOSU, and the whole thing will come apart. It goes back together rather easily. However, it's not desirable. There we go. Good. All right. So that's an introduction to the basic stuff that we can do with jumping onto the BOSU, landing on our hands and feet. I'm sure you guys you've already felt the core activation, all the muscle recruitment from not just the legs, but up and through your core. Your arms move around to balance. You can see the flood of information. You can feel the flood of information from your brain back and forth in your body, and how tiring this can be, even just with basic moves like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get into a couple of things where it's not so much on your feet, but on your butt, on your back, on your hands and knees, and stuff like that. So what we'll do is we'll start out with what they call bird dog. So you're going to be on the BOSU like this. Now, for beginning, what we want to do, ultimately, it's here. And it's one leg out, one arm out. And then switch. Now, for starters, you might start, actually, you start with your knees on here, and you're going to do with the arm and the leg out, and then back. As you progress, get a little closer to do it, and then ultimately both on here. Okay? So I want everybody to give that a shot with just the knees on the BOSU for now. And you extend your opposite arm and leg. Keep your hips level. Your hips are going to want to turn. There you go. The farther you've got your arms and legs spread from one another, the easier it is. Easy is a relative term. This is not exactly one of the easier exercises out there. It looks rather simple, but once you get into it, it very much isn't. So let's move our hands closer to the edge of the BOSU, so where the heel of your hands is right at the edge of the BOSU. Keep your cores good and solid. You really got to engage all of those core muscles. If you relax and just try to lift your leg and your arm, that's when you're going to wobble. There you go. If you have to, just tap your toe down. Now, the higher you push your leg back, the more you're going to get, in addition to the core work, in addition to the balance, the more you're going to activate the glutes and the erector muscles in your lower back. So one of the other benefits you're going to see from BOSU training is going to be postural. Who here sits behind a desk all day? who here has,
Jordan's lying.
Who here doesn't have good posture? All the same people, raise your hands. And then remember, master the basic before advancing. So eventually we'd get into, you'd have your hands and knees on the BOSU. You have to move your knees back a little bit. And same idea. But again, make sure that you want to be before you attempt it that way, you want to be solid like this on a solid surface, or with your hands on a solid surface before you attempt it. If you're wobbling here, then you're probably not ready to do a lot with that. At the same time, if you're not, you can't train to improve your balance without getting yourself out of balance. Does that make sense? If you're solid as a rock, standing on one foot, yeah, you're balancing, but are you doing something to improve your balance? No, you're not. All right. So next, I'll demonstrate what is called the dead bug. So you're going to put your butt down in the BOSU, and then get small your back into it. You're going to start out here, and just balance here. When you're steady, you do the same thing. And then put it back in. All right, so adjust yourself in the BOSU so that you can get the maximum movements.
Looks like a dead bug.
You don't say.
No, just catch your name. Okay? So just lay back on the BOSU and just get your balance and try to get steady with your knees bent at 90 degrees, your hips bent, so your legs are straight up in the air, and your knees bent at 90. Contract your core. You're going to feel a lot of work through your abs and your arms out in front of you. Looks so easy.
Say Jordan makes it look easy, I'll tell you that much.
I like this one though.
Do I see a new boot camp exercise?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You just give him a new one to do to me on Mondays.
But that's good, right?
It's always good.
Man,
Yes.
don't let your body extend. Try to keep your body neutral. Keep your spine neutral. So you're going to engage your core to do that. Feel that?
Uh-huh.
Same thing over here. You know, you can contract a little bit to keep your spine neutral. There you go. Those of you that have trained enough with me, you know that I'm not a big fan of any spinal flexion or any, it's hyperextension of the spine. And here's just one more thing we do to train your core muscles, to train your stability without doing crunches.
Tim has to start coming to boot camp with me.
What's that?
He has to start coming to boot camp.
Now you understand exactly what it is Raina's been doing to make the strides that
You
she's
understand,
making.
like, the first 4 or 5 weeks, Raina was coming home. She's like,
I can't move.
but now look at her. She's tearing it up out there.
Dude, 36:15 was it?
19.
19? 36:19 on her 5K today.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we were talking about 40 minutes, weren't we?
I know, yeah.
You killed that.
Way to go, Raina.
Congratulations. Very good. All
All
right.
right, Amanda's done.
My dirty
So let's-
Tim's done.
Let's move on to another one that's going to be
I just stopped.
what we're going to do here. We're going to do 2 more actions. What we're going to do, we're going to flip the BOSU over.
Hey, Raina.
All right? Again, we're not going to stand on it. And so we're going to come in, have a seat, and then get into a cross-legged sitting position.
All right.
It's okay.
And just get into your zen.
Exactly.
Keep it all focused. Raina, can you grab one of those blue, the softer of the blue fit balls there?
Wait.
No, the little,
Little ball
the
right.
little
Behind
ball.
you.
Oh, these balls.
The softer. There's one that's one's kind of hard, one's kind of soft. Woo, hey! So now you can see where this is going. So if everybody can find a sitting position there.
Come on, Tim.
You'll be in here in a minute.
I know. Oh, I
All
know
right.
I'm off the hook.
So what we're going to do, what's that?
Jordan can't cross his legs properly. I can't do that.
I'm sorry, I just want video of that.
I got it. Okay.
All right, so what we're going to do, we're all facing, diagonally into the middle. And we're going to take one hand and throw it to across. So you're going to catch with your left, and you're going to give it to your right and toss it to Amanda the same way. Okay?
That's the hardest part.
Now transfer it and toss it to Amanda.
You're right.
So as you guys can see, things can look extremely harmless on the BOSU and quite difficult.
Cheater.
This is what we say, weebles wobble, but, oh, wait, maybe they do fall down.
That'll be the new name for these, the Weebles. It's like the
Ooh,
old toy. 'Cause
the
it's
weeble wobble, yeah. And the cool part with this one, too, is that there is a certain amount of laughter associated. All right, so we're going to watch Raina and Tim do this. With the occasional flailing arm from Amanda.
Okay, you try to sit right. If you try to sit right on the center of it, it's not going to happen that way.
I think that's the kind of stuff. You're not supposed to run perfectly to the other person.
Well, I mean, eventually you start off being nice. You start off being nice, and then you start getting mean.
At least I'm not the only one having a
And just a note, if the most buff gentleman in the room is having a challenge with it, you understand just how difficult this exercise can be.
Jordan, we should do this on Monday.
It's so bad compared to
All
something
right.
else.
So now we'll do one last exercise. We saved the best for last one. And this is another one that everything here we do, we can progress. So now we're just going to get into a good old-fashioned plank on the BOSU. The idea is to keep it as steady as you can. Now once you're in a good, stable plank, and you can hold this for an extended period, you start wobbling. Or circles. Or compass points, north, south, east, west. Bring in a push-up. Bring in an explosive push-up.
Tim liked that one.
This is just, and again, today, really what we've done is just an introduction to the possibilities with the BOSU. These are very, for the most part, fairly basic exercise. Now, when you do the plank on the BOSU, make sure your shoulders are directly above your hands. You don't want to be pushing out with your hands. So if somebody dropped a weighted string from your shoulder, to go right in your hand. Make sure you don't have your butt way up in the air, but also make sure your back is not sagging. Now you can either hold on to the BOSU on the edges like I did. You can put your hands flat on the BOSU as Jordan's demonstrating. You can turn it a little bit so that the points aren't right in your hand. Whatever's most comfortable. It's really not crucial how you do it.
Around.